Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers, and I'm looking this morning at a new book from Jordan Publishing on wills and various other aspects of that area. It's this book here, 400 pages, A Modern Approach to Wills, Administration and Estate Planning with Precedents, and it's written by two people, Christopher Whitehouse, who's a barrister, and Professor Lesley King. There's the blurb on the back. The book is fairly light. There's a good little preface right at the beginning which sets out what their aims are. Useful contents. What I do like, again, apart from the case law and everything which we expect, you've got some very useful paragraph numbering at the side, and the footnotes, which are very useful to follow things through. At the back there is a nice CD, and you've got a shortish index towards the back. There's not very much in the way of the index. I'll just find it, and someone to come. There we go. There's the index there, and you can, as I say, you've got a lot of detail. You've got the precedents, and you've also got a lot more. Let me tell you a bit about the book anyway, and what we found useful about it from our point of view of practice. We've given it the title, A New Book from Jordan's, Wills, Trusts and Taxation, a detailed authoritative commentary with 40 precedents on CD. That's what you've got, and that of course is extremely helpful for everybody involved in this area. So be you a barrister or solicitor, if you're a professional practitioner advising on wills and the administration of estates, this scholarly and briskly authoritative new work of reference from Jordan's Publishing should be required reading, and certainly I think it's something you probably want for your library. The original idea for the book, say expert authors Christopher Whitehouse and Professor Lesley King, was to deal with the subject matter mainly by considering and referring to relevant precedents. Fortunately for practitioners in this complex area, the book grew like Topsy, with precedents being taken over by commentary. It's replete with worked examples, just what we want, of course. If you go back to your early training, you remember you do need some help and tips. So you've got the worked examples, and it's the precedents which offer time-saving practical advice and guidance to the busy practitioner. Certainly something I would consider very seriously. They can therefore be used illustratively, to get it right, to elucidate the matters discussed and adapted to individual client requirements. True to its title then, the book is undoubtedly a modern approach to an area of law which is, as we enter the second decade of the 21st century with a coalition government, clouded with uncertainty, in the words of the authors. Now more than ever then, it's not a simple task of drafting a will, contrary to certain shades of popular opinion which hold that the drafting of a will can be done on a DIY basis or via Tesco's. The process of and expertise involved in making an appropriately tax-efficient will involves a high degree of financial acumen and technical knowledge, especially as more people become relatively affluent. So it's not something one should sort of not really consider. I think it's well worth looking at this much more seriously. So the value of the book is that it alerts even experienced wills experts to, say, certain rules that contain traps for the unwary. It also raises awareness of opportunities that can produce often unexpected tax savings. Initially examining the legal framework of wills, trusts and taxation, the book's emphasis is on tax efficiency, and look particularly therefore at the chapter on tax efficient administration, which I think is very helpful, as it explores various issues from post-death interests and provisions for children to instruments of variation and disclaimer, to agricultural and business properties, and of course much more. So let me just conclude by saying, for practitioners who routinely deal with wills, trusts and estate planning, with the emphasis on tax issues, this is indeed an essential and certainly topical work of reference. The meticulously footnoted text which I indicated earlier is eminently readable, and the accompanying CD-ROM with the 40 precedents included saves valuable time for all concerned. Each precedent can be downloaded, of course, and adapted as appropriate to specific cases. So can I thank you, Jordan, for again producing an excellent contribution to what we do as professionals, and also to the authors, Christopher Whitehouse and Professor Lesley King. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.